Landlords, beware of the terms of default that you put in your lease agreement. You'll be bound by your lease agreement to follow those terms. Hi, my name is Rob Wells. I'm the Landlord Warrior on TikTok and YouTube. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our videos. So, I deal with a couple of landlords, and a lot of these landlords use a particular lease. In this particular lease, there are terms of default which constitute when a tenant has breached an agreement. For example, this particular lease may say, hey, you have to wait, 5, 10, 15 days before you can issue a 3-day notice to pay rent, because the terms of default say, hey, the tenant's not in default if they pay within so many days. Okay, this is somewhat a little bit different than a grace period. But I've noticed this particular lease, that's a very popular lease, by the way. Landlords, I've seen landlords put in, a certain number of days, like 5 days. I've seen landlords put in 15 days, 30 days, whatever it is. The tenant won't be in breach of that provision of the lease agreement, and aka you won't be able to issue a 3-day notice to pay rent until after that time elapses. The reason is the law does provide, first off, when you issue a notice for rent, one of the requirements by law is the rent has to be delinquent. Well, if the tenant's not delinquent, or they're not in default of the lease term about paying rent, then, then you can't issue the notice because the rent's not delinquent yet. Okay, so you have to be very careful about that. I know some of these lease programs, they let you fill in the blanks of whatever. They might ask you questions. You may not know what that is. You may need to sit down with a guy like me to kind of go over those items. What terms do you want to put in? Because I almost feel like sometimes a landlord doing their own lease may not even know what the form is asking until it becomes too late. I have to tell the landlord, hey, listen, your lease says, your rent isn't delinquent, 7 days after the rent due date. So you have to serve your notice on the 8th of the month. Okay, that's the minimum time frame because that's what you put in the lease. So the judges, if the tenant calls you out or the court finds out about that and you issued your 3-day notice before the notice, before the tenant became delinquent or in default of the agreement, then your case gets thrown out. So you got to be careful about that, okay? Folks, if you have questions, you have a landlord situation, please feel free to reach out. I'll try to help you out to the best of my ability. If you have questions, comments, put them down below. Until next time, I'll talk to you then. Thanks.